Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to Genesis 11 to 15, Psalm 115, and Proverbs 24. Let's get started. The whole world had only one language, and everybody spoke it. They moved to the east and found a broad valley in Babel. There they made their home. They said to one another, "Come on, let's make bricks and bake them well." They used bricks instead of stones. They used tar to hold the bricks together. Then they said, "Come on, let's build a city for ourselves. We'll build a tower that reaches to the sky. And we'll make a name for ourselves. Then we won't be scared of the whole world." But the Lord came down to see the city and tower of the people were building. He said, "All these people are united and speak the same language. That is why they can do all this. Now they will be able to do anything they plan. Come on, let's just go down and mix up their language. Then they will not be able to understand one another." So the Lord scattered them from there over the whole earth, and they stopped building the city. There the Lord mixed up the language of the whole world. That's why the city was called Babel. From there the Lord scattered them over the whole earth. Here's the story of Shem's family line. It was 2 years after the flood. When Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of Arphaxad. After Arphaxad was born, Shem lived 500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad had lived 35 years, he became the father of Shelah. After Shelah was born, Arphaxad lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Shelah had lived 30 years, he became the father of Eber. After Eber was born, Shelah lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber had lived 34 years, he became the father of Peleg. After Peleg was born, Eber lived 430 years and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg had lived 30 years, he became the father of Reu. After Reu was born, Peleg lived 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu had lived 32 years, he became the father of Serug. After Serug was born, Reu lived 207 years and had other sons and daughters. When Serug had lived 30 years, he became the father of Nahor. After Nahor was born, Serug lived 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor had lived 29 years, he became the father of Terah. After Terah was born, Nahor lived 119 years and had other sons and daughters. After Terah was 70 years old, he became the father of Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. Here's the story of Terah's family line. Terah became the father of Abraham, Nahor, and Haran became the father of Lot. Haran died in the city of Ur in Babylonia, the land where he was born. Haran died while his father Terah was still alive. Abraham and Nahor both got married. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarai. The name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran. Haran was the father of Milcah and Iscah, but Sarai wasn't able to have children. Terah left Ur and Babylon. He took with him his son Abraham and his grandson Lot, the son of Haran. Terah also took his daughter-in-law Sarai, the wife of his son Abraham. All of them left together to go to Canaan, but when they came to Haran, they made their home there. Terah lived for 205 years. Then he died in Haran. The Lord had said to Abraham, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's family. Go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great. You will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you. I will put a curse on anyone who puts a curse on you. All nations on earth will be blessed because of you." So Abraham went, just as the Lord had told him. Lot went with him. Abraham was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife Sarai and his nephew Lot. They took all the people and possessions they had acquired in Haran. Then they started out with the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Abraham traveled through the land. He went as far as the large tree of Moreh at Shechem. At that time, the Canaanites were living in the land. The Lord appeared to Abraham at Shechem. He said, "I will give this land to your family who comes after you." So Abraham built an altar there to honor the Lord who had appeared to him. From there, Abraham went on toward the hills east of Bethel. He set up his tent there. Bethel was to the west, and Ai was to the east. Abraham built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abraham left and continued south toward the Negev desert. At that time, there was not enough food in the land, so Abraham went down to Egypt to live there for a while. As he was about to enter Egypt, he spoke to his wife Sarah. He said, "I know what a beautiful woman you are. The people of Egypt will see you and say, 'This is his wife.' Then they will kill you, but they will let you live. Tell them you are my sister. Then I'll be treated well, and my life will be spared because of me." Abraham arrived in Egypt. The Egyptians saw that Sarai was a beautiful, very beautiful woman. But when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they told Pharaoh how beautiful she was. So she was taken into his palace. Pharaoh treated Abraham well because of her. So Abraham gained more sheep and cattle and male and female donkeys. He also gained more male and female servants and some camels. But the Lord sent terrible sicknesses on Pharaoh and everyone in his palace. The Lord did it because of Abraham's wife Sarah. So Pharaoh said to him, "What have you done to her?" He said, "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? And why did you say she was your sister? That's why I took her to be my wife. Now then, here's your wife. Take her and go." Then Pharaoh gave orders to his men about Abraham. They sent him on his way, so he left with his wife and everything he had. Abraham went up from Egypt to the Negev desert. He took his wife and everything he had. Lot went with him. Abraham had become very rich. He had a lot of livestock and silver and gold. Abraham left the Negev desert. He went from place to place until he came to Bethel. Then he came to the place between Bethel and Ai, where his tent had been earlier. Then he called on the name of the Lord at the altar he had built. Lot was moving around with Abraham. Lot also had flocks and herds and tents. But the land didn't have enough food for both Abraham and Lot. They had large herds and many servants, so they weren't able to stay together. The people who took care of Abraham's herds and those who took care of Lot's herds began to argue. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in Canaan at that time. So Abraham said to Lot, "Let's not argue with each other. The people taking care of your herds and those taking care of mine shouldn't argue with one another either. After all, we're part of the same family. Isn't the whole land in front of me? Let's separate. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left." Lot looked around. He saw that the whole Jun River valley toward the town of Zor had plenty of water. It was like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose the whole Jun River valley for himself. Then he started out toward the east. The two men separated. Abraham lived in the land of Canaan. Lot lived among the cities of the Jordan River Valley. He set up his tent near Sodom. The people served were evil. They were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord spoke to Abraham after Lot had left him. He said, "Look around from where you are. Look north and south, east and west. I will give you all the land you see. I will give it forever to you and your family who comes after you. I will make them like the dust of the earth. Can dust be counted? If it can, then your family can be counted. Go, walk through the land. See how long and wide it is. I am giving it to you." So Abraham went to live near the large trees of Mamre and Hebron. There he pitched his tents and built an altar to honor the Lord. Amraphel was the king of Babylon. Arioch was the king of Elasar. Kedorlaomer was the king of Elam. And Tidal was the king of Goyim. They went to war against 5 of the kings. They were Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemeba, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela. Bela was also called Zor. These 5 kings all gathered their armies together in the valley of Siddim. It was also called the Valley of the Dead Sea. For 12 years, Kedorlaomer had ruled over them. But in the 13th year, they opposed him. So in the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and the kings who helped him went to war. They won the battle against the Rephaites in Ashtaroth Karnaim. They also won the battle against the Zuzites in Ham and the Emites in Shaveh Kiriathaim. They did the same thing to the Horites in the hill country of Seir. They marched all the way to El Paran near the desert. And they turned back and went to En-Mishpat. En-Mishpat was also called Kadesh. They took over the whole territory of the Amalekites. They also won the battle against the Amorites who were living in Hazezon Tamar. Then the kings of Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Bela marched out. Bela was also called Zor. They lined up their armies for a battle in the valley of Siddim. They got ready to fight against Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goyim, Amraphel, king of Babylonia, and Arioch, king of Elasar. There were 4 kings against 5. The valley of Siddim was full of tar pits. The kings of Sodom and Gomorrah ran away from the valley. Some of their men fell into the pit, but the rest escaped to the hills. The 4 kings took all the things that belonged to Sodom and Gomorrah. They also took all their food and then left. They carried away Abraham's nephew Lot and the things he owned. Lot was living in Sodom at that time. A man escaped and came to report everything to Abraham. Abraham was a Hebrew. He was living near the large trees in Mamre the Amorite. Mamre was a brother of Eshcol and Anna. All of them helped Abraham. Abraham heard that Lot had been captured, so he called out his 318 trained men. All of them were sons of his servants. Abraham and his men chased their enemies as far as Dan. During the night, Abraham separated his men into groups. They attacked their enemies and drove them away. They chased them north of Damascus as far as Hobah. Abraham took back everything the kings had taken. He brought back his nephew Lot and the things Lot owned. He also brought back the women and the other people. After Abraham won the battle over Kedorlaomer and the kings who helped him, he returned home. The king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shaveh. It was also called the King's Valley. Melchizedek was the king of Jerusalem. He brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of the Most High God. He gave a blessing to Abraham. He said, "May the Most High God bless Abraham. May the Creator of heaven and earth bless him. Give praise to the Most High God. He gave your enemies into your hand." Then Abraham gave Melchizedek 1/10 of everything. The king of Sodom said to Abraham, "Give me the people. Keep everything else for yourself." But Abraham said to the king of Sodom, "I have raised my hand to make a promise to the Lord. He is the Most High God. He is the Creator of heaven and earth. I've said I will not accept anything that belongs to you. I will not even take his thread or the strap of a sandal. You will never be able to say, 'I made Abraham rich.' I will accept only what my men have eaten and what belongs to Anna, Eshcol, and Mamre. These 3 men went with me. Let them have their share." Sometime later, Abraham had a vision. The Lord said to him, "Abraham, do not be afraid. I am like a shield to you. I am your very great reward." But Abraham said, "Lord and King, what can you give me? I still don't have any children. My servant Eliezer comes from Damascus. When I die, he will get everything I own. You haven't given me any children, so this servant of mine will get everything I own." Then a message from the Lord came to Abraham. The Lord says, "When you die, what you have will not go to this man. You'll have a son of your own. He'll get everything you have." The Lord took Abraham outside and said, "Look up at the sky, count the stars, if you can." Then he said to him, "That's how many children will be born into your family." Abraham believed the Lord. The Lord was pleased with Abraham because he believed. So Abraham's faith made him right with the Lord. He also said to Abraham, "I am the Lord. I brought you out of Ur in the land of Babel. I'll give you this land to have as your very own." But Abraham said, "Lord and King, how can I know I will have this land as my own?" So the Lord said to him, "Bring me a young cow, a goat, and a ram. Each must be 3 years old. Bring a dove and a young pigeon along with them." Abraham brought all of them to the Lord. Abraham cut them in 2 and placed the halves opposite each other, but he didn't cut the birds in half. Then large birds came down to eat the dead bodies of the animals and birds, but Abraham chased the large birds away. As the sun was going down, Abraham fell into a deep sleep. A thick and scary darkness covered him. Then the Lord said to him, "You can be sure of what I am about to tell you. For 400 years, your family who comes after you will be strangers in another country. They will become slaves and will be treated badly. But I will punish the nation that makes them slaves. After that, they will leave with many possessions. But you will die in peace. You will join the members of your family who have already died, and you will be buried when you are very old. Your children's grandchildren will come back to you. That's because the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached the point where I must punish them." The sun set and it became dark. Then a burning torch and a pot filled with smoking coals appeared. They passed between the pieces of the animals that had been cut in 2. On that day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham. He said, "I am giving this land to your family who comes after you. It reaches from the river of Egypt to the great Euphrates River. It includes the land of the Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, and Rephaites. The Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and the Jebusites also live there." Proverbs 24. Do not want what evil you have. Don't long to be wicked. In their hearts they plan to hurt others. With their lips they talk about making trouble. By wisdom a house is built. Through understanding it is made secure. Through knowledge experience are filled with practical and beautiful things. Most people are success by means of great power. Those who have knowledge gather strength. If you go to war, you will need guidance. If you want to win, you need many good advice. Wisdom is too high for fools. They shouldn't speak when people meet at the city gate to conduct business. Anyone who thinks of something things to do will be known as the one who plans to. Fools plans are simple. Even like those who make fun of others. If you go away when trouble comes, your strength is very small. Save those who are being led away to death. All like those who are about to be good. Don't say, well, we didn't know anything about this. Doesn't the God who knows what you are thinking see it? Doesn't the God who guards your life know it? They'll pay back everyone for what they have done. Eat honey, my son, because it is good. Honey from a honeycomb has a sweet taste. I want you to know that wisdom is like honey fruit. If you find it, there's hope for you tomorrow. So your hair will not be cut off. Don't hide and wait like a burglar near a gully person's head. Don't rub their head. Even if gully people fall down sometimes, they always get up. But those who are evil trip or fall when trouble comes. Don't be happy when your enemy falls. When he trips, don't let your having fun. The Lord will see, but he won't be pleased. He might turn his anger away from your enemy. Don't be upset because of evil people. They look at what sins have. Tomorrow evil people won't have any hope. The lamps of sins will be blown out. My son, have respect for the Lord and the King. Don't join with officials who disobey. The Lord and the King will suddenly destroy them. Who knows what trouble those two can bring? Here are more sayings of wise people. Taking sides in court is not good. Because will fall on those who say the guilty are not guilty. Nations will ask for bad things to happen to them. People will speak against them, but it will go well with those who sentence guilty people. Which blessing will come to them. And nonsense is like a kiss on the lips. But yet after working older, get your fears ready. After that, build your house. Don't be a witness against your neighbor for no reason. Would you use your lips to tell lies? Don't say, I'll do to them what they have done to me. I'll be even with them for what they did. I went past the field of someone who didn't want to work. I went past the vineyard of someone who didn't have any sense. There was a grain of everywhere. The ground was covered with wheat. The stem had fallen down. I applied my heart to what I observed. I learned a lesson from what I saw. You might sleep a little or take a little nap. You might even fold your hands and rest. Then you would be poor as if someone had robbed you. You would have little as if someone had stolen from you. Psalm 115. Lord, may glory be given to you. No else. You are loving and faithful. Where do the nations ask? Where is their God? Our God is in heaven. He does anything he wants to do. But the statues of their gods are made out of silver and gold. They are made by human hands. They have mouths but can't speak. They have eyes but can't see. They have ears but can't hear. They have noses but can't smell. They have hands but can't feel. They have feet but can't walk. They have throats but can't say anything. Those who make statues of gods will be like them. So will all who trust in them. All you Israelites, trust in the Lord. He helps you like a shield that keeps you safe. Peace of ground, trust in the Lord. He helps you like a shield that keeps you safe. You have respect for the Lord, trust in him. He helps you like a shield that keeps you safe. The Lord remembers us and will bless us. He will bless Israel, his people. He will bless the priests of Aaron. The Lord will bless those who have respect for him. He will bless important and unimportant people alike. May the Lord give you many children. May he give them to you and to your children after you. May the Lord bless you. He is the maker of heaven and earth. The highest heavens belong to him, but he has given the earth to human beings. Dead people don't praise the Lord. Those who lie quietly in the grave don't praise the Lord. We who are alive praise the Lord. Both now and forever. Praise the Lord. Now that's done, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as you have forgiven our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.